If you want to test yourself against other riders without the risk of absolutely decking it, then you'll probably be interested in cycling esports. There's even an esports world championships that's held on my whoosh. Whatever your level, we reckon that there's a few easy ways to make yourself more competitive and claw your way up those leaderboards. So let's get into it. In preparation for making this video, I've been racing on my whoosh. It's a free platform and it has come on absolutely leaps and bounds since I last tried it. There's a new UI, there's loads of new functionality, including an offline mode for if your internet drops out, but some things are very much still the same. For example, there's still real prize money to be won in some of the race leagues. Now, I don't think I'm quite at that level yet, but there is a wide range of racing for all abilities, and so I've entered myself into a few events to see how I get on. It goes without saying that for most of us, racing of any kind is going to be rather hard work. And it might sound obvious, but staying cool will not only be more comfortable, but you'll also be able to push yourself harder. Did you know that cycling is one of the most efficient forms of transportation? And yet even so, only around 20 to 25% of your energy is put into propulsion. The rest, yep, you guessed it, it's lost as heat. In a hotter environment, it's harder to get rid of that excess heat, leading to your body being even less efficient than usual, as well as your perceived exertion skyrocketing as your core body temperature increases. Now that's not ideal whilst racing. Luckily, there are some really easy ways to stay cool. Invest in a decent fan, turn off the heating before jumping on the turbo, maybe crack open a window, and you could even stick your water bottles in the freezer. You do often see pro riders sipping on a slushie when things get really hot. Now that's something I can get behind. With race routes ranging from Arabia and Belgium to Colombia and Australia, it's safe to say that the terrain of the routes you're racing are going to have quite a bit of variety. Now, variety is great, but surprises in races are rarely a good thing, and that's why it's worth looking up the route before you start. So, some key things to look for. How much elevation is there? Are there any sharp climbs that are likely to break things up or good to launch an attack on? Are there any long climbs that you're going to need to pace yourself on? And when is the best time to launch your sprint? You could take this one step further and even pre-ride the route before the race. This way you can look out for points of interest and really get a feel of what's to come, for better or for worse. Just like in the real world, esport races on platforms such as my whoosh come down to tactics as well as raw power, which is probably a good thing because I don't have much raw power, or any power for that matter. Thanks to advanced algorithms taking things into account such as aerodynamics, rolling resistance, and drafting, you get a realistic simulation of real life conditions. What this means is that drafting is going to be a key element in most races. On steeper climbs, just like in the real world, there will be a reduced drafting effect, and so it's here that's usually your best place to try and get away, or at least be ready to follow a move. On the flats, it's always worth keeping an eye on that head-up display and your power number to double check that you're in a draft. That's indicated by the number being green. I once read on the side of a vending machine that a 2% drop in hydration equals a 20% drop in performance. Now, the exact numbers are obviously up for debate, but I think nearly everyone agrees that being hydrated is a good thing as far as your exhaustion, your perceived exertion, and your cognitive function is concerned. Some esports races can be short, others are really quite long. If you're competing in the latter, then hydration is going to play a serious part. Now, that doesn't just mean that you should be downing a load of water. Hydration is made up of three main components: the fluid itself, electrolytes, in particular sodium, and finally glucose or carbohydrates, which is going to transport all those electrolytes to where you actually need them. Before a hard race, I'd recommend making sure you're fully hydrated before getting going so that you're not putting yourself at a disadvantage before the countdown's even got to 0. If you really want to up your indoor training game, then there's going to be no substitute for dedicated training to eke out all of your hidden potential. Now, indoor training is a really efficient way of training no matter your goals, but especially so for indoor racing. Therefore, before my next indoor race, I'm going to have a browse through the huge selection of indoor training plans on my Whoosh to try and give my VO2 max a bit of a kick up the backside. There's actually over 20 pre-made race-specific training plans, as well as other science-backed sessions designed by UAE Team Emirates World Tour coaches. And if they can make Pogacar that fast, then just think about what they can do for you. As with anything, practice is going to make perfect. And that doesn't mean that you have to race every other night of the week to be good at it, but it does mean that the more you ride, the better the understanding you'll get of how the drafting works, how to measure your effort, and what it's like riding with others on an indoor training platform. For this, I'd recommend joining some group rides, of which there are many on my Whoosh. They can be a really sociable way of getting the kilometers in and improve your racecraft without even realizing it. Just like with real life races, many esports cycling events will finish with a sprint. Now, if you know that this is a weakness of yours, then it's well worth practicing, because very often it can be the difference between finishing first or 15th, 14th. Sprinting on an indoor trainer can feel a bit different to outside because, well, obviously your bike just doesn't swing around the same. Make sure your bike and turbo are secure and on a flat and preferably grippy surface, and then just practice giving it some beans really. I've found that it's more important than outside to make sure you're in the right gear as well. So timing and momentum is everything. Let us know any of your indoor bike racing tips down in the comment section below. And if you fancy trying out some races, then why not head over to my Whoosh. The platform is completely free and we'll pop a link down in the description below. We'll see you next time.